Good morning, good morning, good morning. You know what today is? Monday Morning Chats with Zach, and Zach is me. I hope that you guys had a great weekend. It was an extended weekend because today is President's Day. And so if you work for a government agency or maybe your job acknowledges day as a holiday and you are off today. Last Monday, unfortunately, I did not host Monday Morning Chats with Zach. I was grieving over the Eagles losing the Super Bowl. I was really hurt about it. I'm better now. I guess I can call it saying healed. And I look forward to the football season this upcoming year. So I definitely look forward to the next football season. But a few things before I get started. One of my colleagues that worked with me last year from my firm passed away yesterday. And it just really made me think about just life and just being grateful for what you have, and just never assume that someone's okay just because they make a post on social media. Like, this person literally posted something on February 9th and died yesterday. And so if you see someone that's like posting things, they may not be as vocal, never assume that they're okay. People are fighting silent battles that we know nothing about. And I just pray that you're able to show compassion, but mostly give grace. You just never know. And so this book, I've been reading this book with my therapist, and it's called The Gifts of Imperfections. Let go who you think you're supposed to be and embrace who you are. So this is a good book. And I think, and what we have talked about, the more you know who you are, the more it makes it a little easier to understand people. And so I have therapy once a week with my therapist. And this is something that I decided to do on my own. I started therapy 2 years ago, and that part of therapy was really just healing. And now I told her, I was like, hey, I did the healing part. I know who I am. I can acknowledge who I am. But it's more so me knowing who I am and how to deal with people, right? How to deal with people when we see things from a different perspective and still show grace and still be understanding. Because sometimes I'm human. I may not understand why people do the things that they do. But as I dig deep and we go into this book, it made me think, okay, I see why this person does this. I see why now I can choose how I want to deal with them and choose how I respond, right? Just be very conscious of how I respond to them. And that's about life just growing up. But the thing that we talked about in therapy is that growth is a choice. It's not something that it just comes with age. It is a choice. It is a choice that you make if you want to grow, if you want to learn more, if you want to be more. That is a choice. Now, you can lose weight, you can gain weight, and you may consider that some type of growth. But growing spiritually, mentally, and emotionally, that is a choice that people have to make. It's not something that's just going to happen. And unfortunately, some people don't make the choice to grow. They're stagnant in these areas. And because they're stagnant, they can't reach their full capacity. So I want to talk about a few things. So one, last week we talked about courage, compassion, and connection. Now, I was supposed to talk about that last Monday, but I was hurt. I was grieving. I acknowledged my feelings that my team almost won, but we did not win. So just really being mindful of that and knowing that, hey, I need some time for myself because I still had to get over this loss from the Super Bowl. But I want to read two things in here, and then we can kind of like talk. So it breaks down like what compassion is. And so if I had to label this, it will be know who to talk to. And the second is showing compassion and encourage. So this one book, it talks about compassion and what does that mean, right? What does that mean? Being understanding, right? So I'm going to tell you what they said compassion is. Compassion is not a relationship between a healer and the wounded. It is a relationship between equals. Only when we know our own darkness well can we be present with the darkness of others. Compassion becomes real when we recognize our shared humanity. And I think it's important to understand that when you're dealing with people, you have to understand that everyone deals with battles that you probably don't know of. But when we truly understand ourselves and know that we too have darkness, we too have issues within us, it makes it easier to understand that, hey, people can go through the exact same things. It just may look different how they're showing up, right? It may look different, but people go through things. But this book really talked about when we bury our stories, the shame increases, right? And so just think about like the first topic I'm going to talk about, who can you talk to? I have a lot of great friends. I have a small amount of friends and they're great. But I'm very meticulous on who I talk to about certain things, right? And that's the one thing that I prayed for when it came to friends. Like, God, like, show me who I can talk to about this subject. Show me who I can talk to about this, right? Can they give me compassion? I don't want them to feel sorry for me, but can they show me some type of compassion and know that I'm human and it's okay for me to go through these things and allow me to really express my emotions and how I feel about something. And so what I have learned is that my story is not shared with all of my good friends, right? Something that's really personal to me, really deep for me, is not shared. And I shared the most with two of my friends that's been like in my corner for a very long time. And I like to keep it that way. I think sometimes when you are sharing your story, some people want you to feel pity for them. And sometimes it's not about pity. It's just about listening, just listening. And so I had those two friends, and I want you to think about the people that's in your circle. Who actually hears you? Who actually understands you? Who can you talk to, right? If you say, hey, I need to talk right now, like this is very important. Who can you talk to? And in this place, this space in my life, I want to be around those friends where we had those connections, where I'm able to freely speak about how I feel, right? And I know I can get that from all my friends, but I know there's two people in particular that I share the most with. Now, I don't believe in oversharing, but I share the most with, and they've been extremely helpful, right? At the end of the day, I make the decision on things I want to do, but these people have helped me see things from different perspectives. So I would say be mindful and know who can you really talk to out of your group of friends. Like, who is it can you talk to? What makes them easy to talk to, right? Or if you're not sure, just ask yourself, do they create this safe space? And if they do, what does a safe space look like for you? What does that look like and how does it feel? So I just want to talk about, courage. Courage originally meant to speak one's mind by telling all one's heart. So being able to say how you feel. And so the one thing that me and my therapist have been talking about is thinking about things that we want God to do in our life and actually writing them down. And I told her this because my pastor shared this about Steve Harvey. And Steve Harvey, I had to find a clip. I have not found the video clip. But one of Steve Harvey's clips, it talks about writing down 300 things you want God to do in your life, right? 300 things that you want him to do. Things that you want to happen, things that you want in your life. And so I'm not even at 300, right? I don't think I wrote down 20 yet. Like, I'm still like thinking about the things that I want in my life. And 300, it may not seem like a lot, but it is when you're really sitting down thinking about different things that you want God to do, different things that you want to happen in your life. But with this list, what my pastor was explaining during the sermon is that when you have this idea of the things that you want in your life, it makes it easy to tell people no. It makes it easy to say, no, I can't accept this invitation. And just because you get invited to things doesn't mean you have to go. And so as I'm thinking about the things that I want in my life and where I want my life to go, it makes it a little easier for me to tell people no. It makes it a little easier for me to say, no, I can't do this. And don't feel bad about it, right? So if courage is to speak one's mind by telling all one's heart, is being able to really express that. I had someone that asked me, well, say if you had a male friend and they wanted to take you out to dinner, would you accept? And so I said, well, tell me, what kind of friend is this? Is this someone that's interested in me, that want to see where this can go? Is this a friend that maybe we dated in the past, it did not work out, so maybe we're trying to see if you have another shot? Like, explain what this male friend means to me. and the person said, well, let's say this is a male friend that's interested in you. Would you accept the date if they asked you to go on a date? And I said, no. If the male is interested in me and he wants me to go out to dinner with him and I'm not interested, the answer is no. Well, why not? You never know where it's going to go. I said, listen, I know what I want, and me going out with you because you're interested is unilateral. It's one way. It's like a one-way street. It's not bilateral at all, and that's not what I want. And so if I go out with you and I accept this invitation, it's something that's filling your need because this is what you want. But is it what I want? And the answer is no. And so therefore, I will be wasting my time and I will be fulfilling this facade for you. And that's not right. And so I said the answer is no. So the answer is no, we can't go out on a date. If you're interested in me and you're my male friend and you ask me out on a date and you're interested, but I look at you as a platonic friend, I don't look at you as nothing else, the answer is no. Now, if it's a group setting and we're all going out, yeah, absolutely. We can all go out. But it's important to just really know the things that you want. And so when I'm talking to people and they, I get various invitations, if I know the type of spaces that I want to be in, if I know the type of people that I want to be around, if I know the type of energy that I want to be around, it makes it easy for me to say no. I had my sorority sister and my cousin that came out here this week and they stayed with me, and they was like, so what do you do on the weekend? I said, honestly, it just depends. I said, I really can't tell you that my weekends don't look the same. They don't. And I said, there's some days where I'm a loner, and sometimes I just chill by myself. And I listened to this video. This one guy, I forgot his name, but I really love the content that he puts out on social media. And he made a comment like, who you are alone is actually who you are. And so I enjoy peacefulness, right? I enjoy intimate settings. Like, parties are okay, but I may be the last one to get there and the first one to leave. Like, it's cool, it's okay, depending on the type of vibe. But it depends. And so because I have in this mindset of what I want, it's easier for me to say no. So sometimes I may chill out by myself. Sometimes I may hang out with a group of people. But it's okay, right? But do you have the courage to say what it is that you want? Do you have the courage to say no? And if you say no, are you too concerned about how others may view you or how others may think because you didn't agree to what they want? And so at this point in my life, it's just a matter of, okay, well, this is not what I want, and that's okay. And this may be funny, but it's funny when, I get people that try to slide in my DM and try to talk to me, and I'm like, no, all right? No, this is not it. I don't feel sorry. I don't feel bad, but it's moving in a different way, right? And when you have this list, you have these things of what you want in your life, and you know what you want God to do, it's easy to say no. Also, when it comes to courage, being able to speak your mind freely also, but it's also about communities, right? What type of communities do you want to be in that's going to help you get to the next level to be yourself, or get to the next level who you inspire to be? And I thought about these different things. So I have different groups. So for me, in my professional life, I desire to be a tenured professor, right? I'm on the tenure track, but I want to be tenured. So I have a group where I'm around women that are tenured, and they are showing me the ropes of how to get there, right? Hey, you need to publish this. Hey, you need to do this. Hey, you need to do that. So I'm listening to all these things to say, okay, these are the things that I want to do. When it comes to my personal life, I'll speak on the spiritual side. I decided to join a small group because I wanted to be closer to God. And it's one thing to read my Bible by myself and to pray to God, but it's another thing to be in community with people that want the same thing as me, that has that desire and that fire to be close to Him. That's why I'm in a small group, right? And I decided to turn it up a notch by actually facilitating. And it's a lot of work. Trust me, it's a lot of work. And so I'm in those spaces. I know people that are business owners, right? And so getting insight about what it means to be a business owner and what that looks like. So I'm in those spaces. When it comes to love, when I ask questions about marriage, I only ask questions about marriage to people that I value and I look up to. So I know a lot of married people, but I don't talk to them because I desire to be married. I desire to be a wife. So I ask, questions, or even some I may not desire, like, what have you learned? Or let's say someone had I'm not going to say failed marriage. I would say someone that's divorced. I would ask questions such as, like, what did you learn from it? What advice would you give me? And take those things from a grain of salt. Also know how I am as a person and know what I want and know what I know I can create a healthy, cultivating relationship, right? Just based on reading the Bible, based on who I am as a person, based on what I want and need, and being able to see if I'm able to meet somebody else's need, because that's important. So it's not just about my needs, it's about also someone else's need. There's a comment about compromise. Compromises is always good as long as it's not jeopardizing your values and your goals. If it doesn't jeopardize that, compromise is always important. But that's pretty much all I had to say. But there's something else that I wanted to share that I think that is important. I'll leave with this. When I was talking to my therapist and we talked about, self-love and like loving who you are. And I talked about this before about self-love, but when you love who you are, you will embrace who you are. And when you embrace who you are, you know that you're not perfect, right? You know that you are human. And when you know that you are human, you know that you have emotions, you have feelings, you get hurt, and you understand those things. But the next thing is about controlling those. Do you have outbursts all the time? What makes you have outbursts? Are you willing to make those changes? And that's where it comes with having a courageous spirit, right? To being able to tell one's heart, but also being able to acknowledge, hey, I'm great at this, but there's some things that I need to work on, because we're all works in progress. We're all works in progress. But I would recommend anybody to read this book, right? The Gifts of Imperfection. Like, it is a great book. This could be for men or women. And it just really breaks down different topics. And it really helps you understand like how you think. And then it also allows you to pay attention to others and how they think. But I think the most important thing that I told my therapist that I've learned a lot last year is that, one, it's so easy to love others, right? It's so easy to pour into others. But where am I pouring into myself? And I just remember at one point in my life, I was reaching out to everybody, making sure everybody was good. And I think that's the oldest child in me. But I realized that, hey, I'm like pouring and I'm pouring and I'm pouring. And now my glass is empty, right? It is empty. And we talked about that today in therapy. And I was like, I realized that, hey, I decided not to do that as much. I still care. I still pour into people, but my glass have to always be full first before I pour into others. And it makes it easier. My life is easier. I'm not stressed out about it. But that's also about having a courageous spirit, like just knowing who you are and knowing what you want, right? But also placing boundaries, right? Placing boundaries. Like I'll tell some family members, hey, I can't do that. Why? Because I can't do that. Can you do this? No. I don't need an explanation. No is a complete sentence. That's okay. Hey, can I borrow money? No. Why not? You got the money. I do have the money. I do. But the answer is no, right? No. But I told my therapist, I was my phone was on do not disturb. But I really learned about just knowing I won, it just makes it easier. There's no hard feelings. I remember telling someone a while ago, I was like, I think you're a cool person. I think you're a great person. But I was like, I listened to what you said. I listened to all the things that you said. I've asked questions, the question I need to ask. And I realized that we're not compatible, right? Like, we are cool people. I think you're a cool person, but we're not compatible. So you don't get the emotional attachment that comes with me. You don't get that. You don't get that. And that was brave enough for me to say, instead of saying, let me protect his feelings. No, I protected them the way that I can, but also setting boundaries. So, hey, no, we can't hang out like this. What does that mean? What does that look like? What do you want by us hanging out? You told me exactly who you are, and I believe you. You answer my questions. You showed me who you are, and I'm okay. I'm okay. So you don't need to have a separate conversation with me. You don't need to try to explain anything to me. That's fine. But really tapping into and what I want, it makes it easy for me to figure out what I can give to others, right? It makes it easy to figure out what I can give to others. And do I have the capacity to give it to others? And so I just hope and pray that you know who you were able to talk to about various things. I think everybody should have that go-to person. And one of my go-to people, we're having brunch today. This is like my best friend, like my right-hand man. I hope and pray that you had that person that you could go to, because everyone should be able to process their feelings, not just by themselves, but with someone they can trust. Do you have compassion, right? And so we talked about people giving compassion, but can you give compassion to yourself? Can you look at yourself and realize that you're human and you will make mistakes, right? Do you know what you want in your life that makes it easy for you to say no to people? Like, it makes it easy. That way, there's no wasting time. Whether it's at a romantic level, whether it's at a platonic level, like, can you say, hey, I asked all the questions I need to ask and this person told me, got it, good, that is fine. Friendships, do you know the friends that you want to be surrounded by? I want to be around good people. If you're negative all the time, I don't want you. I don't want you as my friend. Now, it's okay to be negative. You're going through things, right? We're human. Everybody experiences some type of negative energy. Everyone. But is this consistent, right? Are you that person that when you come around, everyone like turns this way and say, yeah, this person is coming, and we already know what that comes with? Everyone has bad days, right? Do you know, are you around communities that help you grow, right? Are you within circles that help you grow, right? I told you I got my different circles. I got my spiritual group. I got my business group. I got my colleagues group. I got my close friends. I got my one best friend. She's my right-hand man, and she holds me accountable, right? So if I tell her things, she's like, all right, so what else are you going to do? Okay. What else are you going to do? And she allows me to see things from a different perspective. And I have another soror. My best friends, both of my best friends happen to be sorors, right? Which is beautiful. But my other good friend is an emotional intelligence coach. She's like my life coach. And she helps me look at things from the emotional aspect. If you say this, how do you think this person will feel? If you tell me that you feel this way about this person, how would you think they feel if you said this? Have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? And those are the groups that I want to be in, right? Those are the groups that I want to be in. I don't want to be in a group that women hate men. I don't want to be in a group where women say they don't need men. I don't want to be in a group where women hate other women. I don't want to be in a group where women think that they don't need community. I think we are better together. That is my motto. We are better together. I really believe in partnership. I believe in partnership from a personal level, and I also believe in partnership at a professional level. We are better together. We are better together. And once I really tapped into that, it makes it easier for me to receive genuine help. And I'm able to distinguish what is not genuine compared to what is. And so I just hope and pray that this Monday, I hope that you guys have a great Monday. I hope that you have a great week. And I just hope that you just never forget how amazing you really are, because you are amazing. You are great. You are phenomenal. I hope that you have the courage to really tell one's heart, to really express how your heart feels, because your feelings are valued. And you are entitled to your feelings. To all the dope men out there, it is Monday, so I like to shout out to you guys. I hope and pray that you're around people that's able to create safe spaces for you. Yeah. I hope that people are asking you questions that you're willing to give the answer to. I hope that people want to know about how your day was. I hope that people are asking you how can they help you. Because I notice there's some men that's always helping people, but no one's not helping them. And so I just hope and pray that you get the help that you need. You don't have to do life alone. You don't have to be silent. And I hope that you get that. That's all I have. Have just a great week. Follow my YouTube channel. It's Sakina Tillman Esquire. I post all my Monday morning chats on there. And I hope that it helps you, right? I just hope that you learn from it. I hope that it allows you to be vulnerable. I hope that you learn to forgive. And I hope that you know that healing is a choice, and you can heal quickly if you make the decision to heal. That's it. Have a great day. Take care.